There we go. All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another ASEA Global Expansion Team Zoom. We have the amazing Hunter Dean to speak with us tonight. Hunter works on the science side, runs the production facility, and so he's going to give us just some ideas of what's going on in cell performance, as well as REDOX, as well as Renew 28, some of the exciting stuff as far as our facility goes. So anyway, Hunter, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Cindy. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. So I want everybody to hear this crazy story about how we found you or how you found us, because one thing about ASEA is there's this divine intervention, this big hand moving the chess pieces around the planet, and people just go, oh my gosh, what are the chances of that? So tell us about your story about how you found ASEA.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting story. And it certainly is one of those things: right place, right time, divine intervention, whatever you want to call it. So my wife was at the University of Utah finishing her master's degree. And we had decided that I needed to just kind of find some work for 6 months or so, just so we could get her through school and pay for her school before we decided what the next step in life was, before we kind of decided where to move to. And so I actually went to a temp agency and I said, hey, I just need a job for 6 months. I just need to work, put my wife through school. And they pulled up this place and they said, hey, well, there's this place down the road called ASEA. They've got an opening to go and work in the maintenance department and fix some machines. And I said, well, my background was in the oil industry. I was working on pumps and pipe systems and things like that. I think I could do that. And so I went over there, and then Darren Fox, who was the director of production at the time, said, hey, we think we'd like to give you a shot, and we'll see where it goes from there. They didn't know that I had a background in chemical engineering. They didn't really know a whole lot about me. But I started looking at the process and I said, hey, I think you guys could do this a little better. I think you guys have something here, but I think there's some improvements, some tweaks that you could make. And so one thing led to another, and they kind of just kept moving me up along the line and giving me some more projects to do. And here I am today. So I like to tell that story just because when we say we power potential, there are a lot of different ways we mean that. We mean that chemically, of course, in our products, but we really do look as an organization to power the potential of those who are willing to work hard and seize opportunity.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that story. I love how Corey Begley came to the company. I love the way, it's, Scott Aldred came to the company. It's just, I love hearing people's individual stories, because we're not unlike most of the general population out there, where we say, what? It's a saltwater company that calls them a biotech company, and they're marketing this stuff through network marketing. What the heck is going on there, right?
Sure. Yeah. And it's interesting because there are a lot of really talented people at the corporate office, and just like in the field, the organizations attract talented individuals and special people. Because of who we are as a company, we attract talent, we attract special individuals. And I see that in my team all the time is the caliber of team that we have is well above our weight class as far as our size as an organization.
Absolutely. So how long have you been with the company now?
I'm coming up on 5 years.
Yeah. So a little longer than 6 months, right?
Yeah, a little longer.
Yeah. Now, we had an audit recently, and we run a FDA approved facility to NSF standards, GMP, good manufacturing practices. We run a really, really tip top lab. In fact, I have a note here that says that we're one of 8 labs in the United States, I think, that can do what we do at the quality that we do it. Is that right?
Yeah, there's a few locations that have all of the capabilities that we have. And when we talk about capabilities, we're talking to testing down to part per trillion in some levels now, right? So we have a really robust quality assurance program, and a lot of that's dedicated or is a result of our dedication to hiring talented staff and putting our money where our mouth is as far as investing in equipment, sophisticated equipment, to be able to test the product.
Yeah, I know that some of the double-blind randomized third-party crossover studies that we've done, we had to pick really special labs because a lot of the labs don't have the equipment necessary to find these teeny tiny molecules. I remember one of the studies, they looked at it, it was one of the ones in North Carolina, and they said, we don't see anything. And they said, you got to open your parameters way up. We're not dealing in those parts per whatever. We're dealing with much tinier little molecules, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one thing I'd like to touch on quickly is we've gotten a lot of questions about our new lab partnerships with GLU and BQC. We had a partnership, a great partnership with Bioagilytics. They have begun to kind of shift focus in what they're interested in supporting. They've kind of moved towards the way of pharmaceuticals. And we want to be the leaders in redox and cell signaling. And so we want to partner with labs that hold that as a common goal. And so we've partnered with BQC, Redox Technologies. It's a lab in Spain, as well as GLU, a lab in Germany, who really have put a large emphasis on redox chemistry and how that impacts our health inside the body. And so that was kind of the reason for the change. Those of you who kind of look at the bottle and are a little bit more perceptive will notice that Bioagilytics is no longer on the bottle. And instead, we have BQC and GLU, two great world-renowned labs that really emphasize redox chemistry and cell signaling for overall health.
Yeah. Now, when we talk about that, our flagship product is the redox signaling products that are, the liquid, the ASEA that we drink, the Renew 28 that we put on topically, and even the serum that we put on topically. But there's some pretty exciting things that are happening with the cell performance, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. The cell performance line is truly incredible. Really, the genesis of this was we had kind of dug into cell signaling and cellular health, and we looked at our technology and we said, what else can we do? What other mechanisms or pathways can we play on in the body? There are thousands of pathways in the body, if not more, that you can play on to achieve health benefits and health outcomes. And so we took some of the redox principles that we had learned and some of the benefits that we had seen from cell signaling being an overall health kind of a cascade effect approach. And we wanted to create a product that allowed for targeted results, right? And so that's kind of a key distinguishing component between cell signaling and cell performance, is that one is kind of a cascade domino effect, overall health and wellness, and the other is a very targeted outcome. And so with our cell performance, we have the mind, mood, and energy products, and these leverage redox reactions in your body to give desired outcomes, and to do so relatively quickly. It's really been a benefit to the field as people can share these awesome formulas, and they experience a result and have an experience right away. Right? Oh, are you feeling tired? Here's some energy. And they can immediately see that the product works. And these products are, again, formulated through the lens of redox, right? And so we're able to leverage the power of redox in a more immediate way.
So do the ingredients that are in the cell performance get inside the cell like the cell signaling molecules do?
Yeah, that's a great question. So cell signaling molecules are tiny molecules. Because they're tiny, they're absorbed into the cell. These cell performance molecules are much larger. And as a result, they have to interact with the cell on the surface, kind of in a lock and key model, right? There's a specific shape molecule, and that will react with the right shape key hole. And then when that happens, an interior response to the cell occurs, and a redox reaction occurs that's tied to a specific outcome, being focus, energy, or mood improvement.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's so great, the Renew 28 has been a real great door opener, because we say, if you hurt anywhere, you stiff and sore anywhere, and within 10 minutes, people are like, what, I do think I feel a little bit better. I mean, it's amazing. So and that starts to open the mind, because they just had an experience. They didn't get a sales pitch. They had an experience, and the cell performance does the same thing. Well, I do feel a little sharper. I do feel a little bit more focused, or I do feel a little bit more calmed down. I'm not going to chew somebody's head off or whatever it is. So we're looking for like you said, a very targeted result. And usually within 20 minutes or so, people can start to feel that effect, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's another quiver in your cap, right? The Renew is a really effective product. One of our, more popular ones, is a huge portion of our business. It's a great, great product. Really nothing out there in the market like it. Cell performance is just another feather in your cap, if you will, as far as immediate results are concerned. The other thing that I'd like to touch on, if we're not jumping at the gun here, is kind of the alternative benefits that come from these products because they are formulated through the lens of redox. In Spokane, we talked about some of these additional benefits that come. And the important thing to realize here is when you formulate through the lens of redox, it's not just an energy drink anymore. There are specific redox benefits that come from these formulations. So for an example, we are making available, and we announced this for the first time in Spokane, that there are ingredients in all 3 cell performance products that contribute to telomere length. Now, I'll dive into telomeres just a little bit in case there are those of you that are unfamiliar. Your DNA has protective caps on it, and the length of those caps becomes smaller as you age or as you experience illness, and those protective caps are your telomeres. And those telomere lengths are closely related to aging. And so we have found studies that show the ingredients in cell performance support the lengthening of your telomeres or your protective caps on your DNA. And so we have very literally produced products that support the anti-aging attribute, of longer telomere length.
Yeah, which is huge. Absolutely huge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're really excited about it.
Yeah. And isn't it true that the more often you take these products, the more you're going to experience the results? So it's not that you're just going to take it when you feel a little drowsy or a little edgy or a little dull. You're taking this almost like a vitamin supplement where you're powering your cells on a regular basis to get a very specific result. And the longer you take it, the better that result's going to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Redox chemistry in the body is all about responding to stressors, right? I go outside, I experience UV waves, I'm kind of knocked off balance, but because of redox, I can respond and get back to center quickly. The more consistently we take these products, the more we are able to respond to different stressors in life. And that's how redox chemistry works. It's a response to stress on both sides, antioxidants and oxidants. And so it's kind of playing this balancing act on a teeter-totter, so to speak. And the more we take these products consistently, the better we're able to respond.
So can you take too much?
You'd have to take a lot of the cell performance. Toxicological tests have confirmed that these are extremely safe products. We do recommend starting on the recommended servings as published on the packaging. But once you've kind of started there, if you want to experiment with, another energy or an energy mind mood cocktail, however you'd like to combine them, you're certainly free to do so. My personal favorite is right around 2 or 3 o'clock when I've got those post-lunch blues. I'll combine an energy and a mind, and that really gives me some focus and some energy to be able to finish out my day productively.
Yeah, my favorite combo is a mood and a mind right before my pickleball game.
Oh yeah,
because it just calms me down enough where you just can't touch me.
Yeah. Did you play pickleball while you were here?
I know, but I will. Next time I'm there, I hear Dave Wall is the man to beat. That's what I hear.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah, it's good. Hey, the other thing I was so excited to hear about is, and I don't think I'm letting the cat out of the bag, but there's some pretty exciting news about Renew 28 activating the NRF2 pathway, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have some studies we've really kind of strategized over the last 2 years. It's been a couple of tough years for everybody between the pandemic, tough economic situations, international conflict. There's been a lot of challenging things that kind of make for some tough headwinds macroeconomically. And so one of the things that we really did was internally, we looked at our studies and really wanted to kind of dig deep there and invest in research to be able to understand these products better and be able to publish information and basically release those to allow the field to have more tools at their disposal to talk about these unique products. And so one of the studies that we have coming out soon will talk about the NRF2 pathway with our cell signaling products. So that's the ASEA REDOX supplement, the blue bottle, and Renew 28. Now, the NRF2 pathway is responsible for combating inflammation. And so we were really excited with this study, and I don't want to give too much away because it'll be pretty cool. We're getting really close to being able to publish that. We were actually in communication with the university today, but we have some very positive results relating to NRF2 pathways, combating inflammation, and the cell signaling products.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. Now, there was some other information about women later in life who are experiencing hot flashes and that kind of stuff. And there was some really exciting studies with the mood, wasn't there?
Yeah. Another study showed that saffron, one of the primary ingredients in the mood product, successfully reduced perimenopause side effects, so hot flashes, things like that. So that's really cool. And again, these are things that come when you're formulating through a holistic approach through the lens of redox. It's no longer just a mood improvement drink. It's no longer just a mind or a focus drink. It's not just an energy drink. There are very many benefits that come when you start formulating through the lens of redox.
Yeah. Now, we got audited, like, so many, companies get audited, and the FDA just pops into your office and says, hello there, we're from the FDA. We'd like to look at your facility. And because ASEA runs audit ready books, we're like, okay, come on in. And they were really impressed with the kind of operation that you and your team are running, weren't they?
Yeah. So last year we had an FDA audit. For those of you who don't know, this is really, really involved. We're what's called an FDA listed facility. Because of the category of our product line, we don't strictly fall directly under the FDA, but because we are an FDA listed facility, we are subject to their audits. And so it's an unannounced audit. We got lucky last year because they said, hey, because of COVID, we're giving you a week notice. We were ready for it, but they did give us the courtesy to prepare as we needed to for COVID. And the auditor came in. She was very thorough. To give you guys an idea, an FDA audit is nearly 2,000 points of inspection, over 2,000 points of inspection. And each one of those bullet points, those 2,000 bullet points, has subpoints. So they're looking through your manufacturing process, they're looking through your equipment maintenance, your bottling procedures, your quality assurance procedures, your document control, whether or not you're prepared for a recall. They're looking into every little nook and cranny of the process, from a bookkeeping standpoint and from a manufacturing standpoint. And she said something that we're really proud of. I'm sure if she knew, she wouldn't appreciate us talking about this all the time, but we're so proud of it that we have to say it. And she said, I probably shouldn't say this, but you guys should teach audit readiness. And I think that speaks volumes about the team that we have at the plant. We have a team of passionate professionals that absolutely love what they do and are very good at their job. And so not only did we have the FDA audit last year and have great remarks from her, 2 weeks ago, we finished our NSF audit. That's a yearly audit. We pay the NSF to come out and audit us every single year to ensure that we are abiding by good manufacturing practices. I'll use GMP as an acronym. I get in trouble because I use too many acronyms, so I try and explain them. So the NSF came out. We maintained our A rating yet again for several years. And then actually we were surprised last week with the Utah agricultural audit. And that's the one that allows us to manufacture in the state of Utah and export overseas. And so we're constantly being audited. We just went through our halal recertification, and we are always audit ready. As you said, it's just kind of how we keep things and how we do things is we have an absolute commitment to quality and to GMP procedures.
Yeah, so that's good manufacturing procedures, right? Isn't that
procedures? Yeah.
stands for, right? And I know that you're kosher as well, right? ASEA is
Yes.
kosher. And are the cell performance products kosher as well?
Yes.
They are. Fantastic. So yeah, 2,000 points on an audit. I can't even imagine. What all that is. But good for you. I know that, you can have the best product on the face of the planet, but if you don't have that product in the hands of the right people, you're in big trouble. And it feels so good to have you guys run in that place like a top. I mean, you're crossing all your T's, dotting all your I's, making sure that it's extremely well-run operation. And when I was there recently, you were talking about the quality control and the testing. And one of the things that I learned, I never knew exactly how long I should swish ASEA in my mouth. And so you shared, you shed some light on that. You want to shed light on that for everybody?
Yeah, we're always trying to improve our knowledge. And so we had heard a lot of things out in the field as far as, hey, swish it in your mouth. We know it works through absorption. So that seemed to make sense, right? Swish it in your mouth. Absorption happens really well through the mouth. So I started asking people in the field and I was like, well, how long do you swish for? And I heard anything from 10 seconds to 30 seconds up to 5 minutes. And that speaks volumes about our associate base, that they're so dedicated to getting the benefit out of the product that they're willing to hold the product in their mouth for 5 minutes. I think the individual who said that was elated to hear that he doesn't have to hold it in his mouth that long. So we did a study and we found that the large majority of the molecules are absorbed in the mouth within 15 to 30 seconds. There still are benefits to swallowing the product because there is some absorption that happens later on. The exact nature of which we're not sure, but we have university research looking into that. But a good majority of the molecules are absorbed within the first 15 to 30 seconds within the mouth. So no need to go for 5 minutes. Although I applaud the dedication, 15 to 30 seconds will suffice.
Yeah. And I know you do some testing with regards to bioavailability, how active the molecules are I know it takes a while, especially Chinese New Year, to get the product over to Asia. It's 3 or 4 months on a boat because of so it's really great that we have our product stable and bioactive for 21 months now?
Yeah, that's part of the reason why we have such a robust quality program. Every single lot that we manufacture of ASEA, we retain samples and we test them over the expiry date to make sure that the expiration date we're giving, even at the last day of expiration, that product remains effective and safe. And so we have a robust testing program where we retain every single lot and we're testing those real time as they reach expiration. And a lot of that has to do with kind of the secret sauce of ASEA, that balance between ORP, pH, salinity, molecule concentration. The more precisely we can test for those things, the more accurately and the further we can push the stability of the product.
Yeah, and I know that we're being much more strategic. We used to have patents. The patents were in pieces. The patents were layered and the patents were international. But the trouble with patents is that they're public information. So now we're doing a lot more intellectual property and trade secrets, just like kind of Coca-Cola. So nobody could ever figure out Coca-Cola. So the goal is that nobody ever can figure out how to make ASEA, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Once you file a patent, it's public domain, it's public knowledge at that point, right? So the only thing that's protecting you is that 20 years or so that you have of exclusive rights to that technology until it sunsets. And at that point, your luck's kind of out. So we have really come a long way since those patents. They still are valuable. We still execute within the patents. They've been a great stepping stool for us, but the technology has evolved and become even better. And rather than make those public knowledge, in order to make sure we are indeed the leaders in this space, we kind of take the Coca-Cola route, as you put it, and hold it as trade secret or intellectual property.
Yeah. Now let's just talk briefly about athletes, because I know the NSF, we've got an athletic certification there. We also have a WADA approval so that Olympic athletes, professional athletes can take the product and not be worried about blood doping. You want to go into that a little bit?
Yeah, we have tons of athletes that are on ASEA's products. For obvious reasons, the benefits are kind of, they speak for themselves. So there are two certifications that concern themselves with athletes. And the first one pertains to Renew 28 and ASEA REDOX supplement, the blue bottle. And that's the NSF Sport certification. And what the NSF Sport certification does is it guarantees or certifies that there are no prohibited or banned substances used at the redox center in the manufacturing plant. And so that certifies that those products are not made in a plant that utilizes banned substances of any kind. The second certification, which is the WADA certification, was tested by a third-party lab. Our first lot of each product, Mind, Mood, and Energy, all three were tested, were found clean and void of any banned substances according to the World Anti-Doping Agency, so WADA. And so these products, every product that ASEA manufactures and distributes is totally safe for athletes to take that are under scrutiny for doping, excuse me.
Yeah. Excellent. So I know that there's some languaging that you've been teaching the field, because people say redox signaling molecules. What the heck are redox signaling molecules? So you want to just go over a little bit of languaging to kind of describe accurately what redox signaling molecules are and why they work?
Yeah. Are you asking about the keywords specifically?
Those keywords. Yeah. Just so we
Yeah.
can kind of get that in our vocabulary.
Yeah, for sure. So there are 5 keywords. The first one is tiny molecules. Next is absorption. The next one is on-off switch. The next one is cascade or domino effect. And then the last one is stress resilience and overall wellness. So how this kind of goes and how they kind of tie together is cell signaling molecules are tiny molecules. Because they are tiny, they can be absorbed directly into the cell. There's that absorption word. Once they are absorbed, they act as an on-off switch to begin cell signaling. Once that cell is switched on, it sends a signal to the cell next to it, and that cell sends the signal to the cells around it, and this begins a cascade or domino effect. And it's this cascade or domino effect that contributes to our stress resilience and overall wellness. So those are the 5 keywords, and it takes a little bit of practice. But that's really as complicated as it needs to be. That's kind of even one level up from kind of the, hey, take this, try this, it gives amazing results, overall wellness. You can look at the studies, whatever, but that's kind of where you want to be in the explanation. In the presentation we gave in the impact tours, we went deeper than that, but I want to make it clear we're doing that so that you don't have to, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that you're kind of simplifying the gene study, aren't you?
Yeah.
I mean, because you can see that what happens in the abstract of the gene study, that these pathways are turned on, improving cardiovascular health, digestive health, hormone balance, inflammatory response, and an immune response, right? That's what the end result is as a result of this cascading effect going through so many different cells at the genetic level, right? And actually working on the level of the DNA.
Yeah, there are a lot of awesome stories that we hear from the field. There's a lot of testimonials that are incredible. And they're as diverse as the individuals who are on the product. It's our hypothesis that, and we have to test this still, but it's our hypothesis that the cascade effect that happens through the body is what's responsible for these various outcomes that we see. Everybody is extremely diverse in how their cells work and function. Everybody is, lacking a little bit of this signal or has too much of that signal. And so what we believe is that cascade or domino effect occurs differently based on your biodiversity. And that's kind of the reason behind why there are so many different outcomes on the product.
Yeah, and so what's the cool thing is that in my book is that we're tapping into individual biochemistry, right? And we're tapping into the body's innate intelligence. So we're not trying to manipulate the body to do something that we want it to do. We're simply tapping into the body's innate intelligence and letting it work its magic, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, cool. Well, Hunter, we're wrapping up at the bottom of the half hour. Is there anything that you want to tell the field? I know that we're not supposed to be microchoniacs. We're not supposed to, turn into pretend that we're chemical engineers, and definitely not trying to complicate it, because, the simple message is all people really want to know. They just want to know that it can't hurt them, that it can help them, and that there's no toxicity, there's no allergic reactions, there's no contraindications. It's completely safe. The negative effects are totally benign. The positive effects are absolutely the coolest thing I've ever seen. So is there any final words you want to leave us with, just to, because I know that the capacity of the production facility is huge compared to what we're tapping into right now. And the goal is to max that production facility out. So what can we do to help bring more ASEA to the world?
Yeah, I think it's just adopting the vision, right? Tyler Norton, our founder, has a huge vision for this technology, and it kind of stems from perhaps the burden that comes from living up to and supporting Vertus Norton's legacy, right? We've heard the story about how Vertus Norton handed over his business, right? And we live with that every single day, the responsibility of that. And so we have scaled this business to be very large. And so we are operating at a fraction of our capacity. And so my kind of closing words is go share the product. This is such a unique product, such a powerful product, and it speaks for itself. That's kind of why we came up with these keywords is it doesn't need a complicated explanation. The product works, right? And so get out there, share the product. We're committed to supporting you guys in any way we can. It's really been kind of a recommitment, if you will, to making sure that we're supporting the field with everything we can, whether that be additional university studies, whether that be simplified content, whether that be more social media posts. We're trying to collaborate with the field to be able to support you guys in any way that you guys need. And so if something comes up, talk to your uplines, reach out to us, talk to the associate support, and we'll do everything we can to help you guys, because we're just as passionate about these products and this technology as you guys are.
Yeah, I know you are. And I can feel ASEA moving into a new gear. I really feel like 2023 is going to be unlike any other year previous, because things are starting to get in alignment and we are starting to work, more synergistically. And I really have incredible hopes for this year. So I want to thank you so much for your time, and I want to thank you for your commitment and all your perfection and attention to detail at that production facility, because it really matters. It really matters in our confidence in bringing the best possible product to the world. I've always said that ASEA is top shelf, absolutely top shelf. I don't expect anything but top shelf from ASEA. If it's got the ASEA brand on it, it's safe, it's good for you, and the company cares about your health. They're not just trying to take your money. They actually care about your health. And if you can't fix the cell, you can't get well. So we work at the cellular level, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hunter, thank you so much. Go enjoy your family. And I really appreciate all your time today.
Thanks so much for having me, Cindy.
All righty. Good night, everybody.